Hello and welcome to Rise Eyes YouTube channel. Myself, Dr. Pradati Ojha. Today, I will explain one editorial article from the Hindu newspaper. Let's see the topic. The topic is about after Maoism, the next battle is for Adivasi Trust, important for GS paper 3, internal security. However, the content inside this topic is very much relevant for the optional papers, those who have anthropology or the sociologists, like with respect if you see from Pesha Act or the Forest Rights Acts, you will get questions in the optional papers also. These topics like Maoism or Naxalism, already we have seen questions appeared in the UPSC mains examinations from GS paper 3. Also, if you see topics like fifth schedule areas, these are highly relevant for the UPSC prelims aspect also. Like Forest Rights Acts also important for the UPSC prelims examinations. So please read this article and try to attempt out one model question, mains model questions that we have provided, because we are expecting such kind of questions may appear in the UPSC mains examinations, and it is very different this time because we'll understand we'll understand the reason why we are saying this is different from the other times. Like we have seen questions appear from Naxalism that are regular basis questions, but this time the question if come, then it will talk about the eradications or it will talk about the way forward suggestions, suggestive type of format you can see. So please read these articles. The highlighted portions are very much relevant for the UPSC mains examinations. Therefore, first, you read this article thoroughly, then stress on the highlighted areas. For these reasons, we have also provided one mains model questions. Please attempt and mention in our comment sections. Also, we have provided one mains UPSC mains PYQ so that you can understand how UPSC frame questions in the internal security paper. Like if you see that is internal security GS paper 3 mains paper. It is one questions in 2022. 15 marks you have to write within 250 words. The question is on Naxalism is a social, economic, and developmental issue manifesting as a violent internal security threat. In this context, discuss the emerging issues and suggest a multi-layered strategy to tackle the menace of the Naxalism. Answer within 250 words and total marks is 15. Now for this article, you have to understand certain parameters. So these parameters will help you write answer in the mains examinations, upcoming mains examinations. So first you have to understand what is the context, that in brief you will know about the news, why it is in the news. Second, shifting of focus from security to inclusive development. It is going in background. It is talking, highlighting about the background, what is happening currently that is already centered in the news sections. Third, it is talking about the PESA and the constitutional self-governance. Fourth, it is highlighting the major challenges in building Adivasi trust. Fifth, that is a way forward for strengthening trust through constitutional governance. And the sixth, that is, will end this article with a short conclusions. So let's understand the context. The context is that recently, if we see on May 19, 2026, the Honorable Union Home Minister addressed a press conference in Jagdalpur, Chhattisgarh, and it was his first since 31st March 2026, when India was officially declared as the Maoist free. And this the most encouraging aspect of this briefing was his assertion that, I'm quoting his word, that the fight against Maoism would remain incomplete until every resident of Bastar is integrated into the mainstream. So we can say this as a context that India's declaration as a Maoist free on March 31st, 2026, and it marks as a major internal security achievement, you can say, while the goal of integrating every resident of Bastar into the mainstream by 2031 reflects a shift towards development and social inclusion. However, the lasting pace will only depend on addressing Adivasi rights, resource governance, and effective implementations of constitutional safeguards only through meaningful community participations. So we have understood the context now. Now we have to focus on what are the next portion, that is shifting from the security to inclusive development, or the transition, how this transition will take place. First is we have to know that is government's post-Mayo's development agenda. What are his agenda, or what are the government's agenda? First, that is focused on welfare delivery, road, infrastructure, mobile connectivity, as well as administrative outreach in remote tribal regions. Second, expansion of service delivery mechanisms to improve their quality of life in the Bastar region, that is the Jagdalpur, Chhattisgarh. C. Greater access to public service connectivity and socio-economic opportunity for Adivashi communities. Now, if we have understood the government post Mayo's development agenda. Now we have to understand what are the challenges we are facing currently in achieving this lasting peace. First, development alone cannot address issues of justice, representations, or the resource rights. Second, if we see security threats are getting declined, but still governance will be judged by the justice, delivery rights, protections, and democratic accountability still. Therefore, rising awareness of constitutional safeguards among the Adivasis are also making institutional reforms essentials. Now, you have to understand what are the Pesha and the constitutional safe governance that has been highlighted over here. That is one kind of way forward. First is the constitutional framework of the tribal governance, that is a village level. Let's understand. Tribal governance rests on two parallel institutions, that is Panchayati Raj institutions pre-led by the Gram Sabha, and second, that is the government appointed officials such as Tahsildars and district collectors. In practice, bureaucratic institutions often overshadow the elected local bodies. Second, significance of the Pesha Act, that is 1996. What it is talking about? If we see here, it is the Pesha is the Panchayat extension to the Schedule Areas Act 1996 across the India's fifth schedule area states. The record of Pesha implementations to the states each interpreted and applied the act differently, often therefore undermining its spirit and intent. But here, what it is saying about the significance of this act, it is highlighting. Yes, it is highlighting places. It places the Gram Sabha at the center of the self-governance in the fifth schedule area. Second, it strengthens the decentralizations, tribal participations, and grassroots democracy. Therefore, we have to know what are the key powers of the Gram Sabha. First, it protects the Adivashi identity, customs, and traditions. Second, it manages the community resources. C, that is the third point, resolution of disputes to customary practices, and fourth, that is the consent on matters affecting livelihoods and local development. So we have understood what are the key powers of the Gram Sabha. Now, next we have to understand that the demand of these tribal peoples of the jungle and Zameen, that is foundation of the trust. Water, forest, and the land are central to the Adivashi identity, culture, and livelihood. Protection of this land, forest, and community resources rights, it's very much crucial for their livelihood building. Now we have to understand what are the major challenges in building this Adivashi's trust. Why are we not able to build trust among these people? Let's see. Weak implementation of the Pesha. Why it is saying so? Uneven implementation across the fifth schedule, state sides often diluted the spirit and intent of the act. Second, that is the erosion of the Gram Sabha authority. What it is saying, attempts such as replacing consent with consultations weaken the decision making powers of the Gram Sabha. थर्ड, अगर हम देखते हैं ब्यूरोक्रेटिक डोमिनेंस के उसमें क्या समझ आ रहा है कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव इंस्टीट्यूशंस फ्रीक्वेंटली ओवरशैडो कर दे रहा है इलेक्टेड लोकल बॉडीज एंड दे आर limiting the community participation. Fourth, that is the governance deficits. What it is talking about? If you see allegations of forged Gram Sabha resolutions and at the same time their consent records also raising concerns about the transparency and accountability. So they were not clearly transparent and accountable also what to their duties and or to their performance. Fifth, that is unsolved historical grievances. If we see issues of the land alienations, displacement, denial of the resource rights are still pending and it are still continuing to shape the tribal perceptions of the state. Sixth, that is beyond negative peace. What is talking about the negative peace? The end of Mayo's violations represent only negative peace. Positive peace or the lasting peace only requires justice, inclusions, dignity, and democratic participations. Then only we can say the negative peace combined with the positive peace. Now we have seen the challenges, so we have to understand way forward that will strengthen the trust through constitutional governance. First, that is we have to ensure effective PESA implementations. How? Strengthen and uniformly enforce PESA across all fifth schedule areas. Second, we have to protect the Gram Sabha autonomy through the consent-based powers, through by legal protection, transparency, and independent oversight. Third, strengthening the forest rights, we have to implement it alongside the PESA to secure tribal rights over land and community resources. Fourth, we have to promote participatory development enable Adivasi communities to shape their own development and integrate their pathways. Fifth, that is the balance outreach with empowerment. How complement welfare delivery with strong democratic institutions and constitutional safeguards to promote genuine self-governance. Here you can see that is the way forward mentioned. Through genuinely participatory governance, the government should allow Adivasis to define the mainstream into which Honorable our Home Minister seeks to integrate them. So here we are concluding this article with a short conclusion. Let's understand the conclusion. The defeat of the Maoism in Bhaskar is a significant achievement. So we all know how these peoples have suffered because of the Maoistic mentality over there. But it marks the beginning and not the end of the state's responsibility to its Adivasi citizen. Lasting peace can only be built on the foundation of constitutional integrity, resource justice, and genuine participatory governance. And therefore, the true measure of India's success in Bastar will not be the absence of conflict, but the presence of trust. Therefore, आज यहाँ ही खत्म कर रहे हैं आज की वीडियो आप इसके बाद आप लोग को मेंस डीप एनालिसिस from the Hindu newspaper से the next video will receive from the Hindu newspaper regarding the main deep analysis. इसके बाद आएगा prelims by जहाँ पे prelim specific topics आपके साथ discussion किया जाएगा with previous year questions, MCQs and model MCQ भी दिया रहेगा. Please practice those questions and visit our Rise Eyes website as well as our Rise Eyes YouTube channels for today's detailed discussions. What we have mentioned, that is the main deep analysis and prelims by. Thank you. All the best.